So hello YouTube, I hope everyone is doing fantastic. It's CalFX here and I'm back with another one. So we're just near the end of the month of August. I hope you guys are just having a great month, man. I mean, me personally, I'm having a very good month. I mean, we're all in the group. We're actually doing very good in this month of August, just keeping the consistency, right? So basically in today's video we will just do a quick follow-up on one of my most recent videos that I made, which was on the how to trade with a full-time job. So I actually leave the link right here for you guys to watch. It's a very powerful video. I hope you guys had a really good time with that one. A lot of gems were dropped there. So basically today we will just do a quick follow-up on that video, and we will talk about how to increase your strike rate. So basically the idea behind increasing your strike rate in trading is it's all about, number one, we want to make sure that our lower time frame trades or entries are in alignment with the higher time frame, because the higher time frame always trumps the lower time frame. That's very important. And the second thing is, the lower the time frame you go, the higher your strike rate will be, because now you have that added layer of confirmation on your trade. So if we're looking, for example, at 4-hour time frame, especially as an intraday trader, if you're looking at 4 hour, we're going to drop down to M15 and look for the confirmation. So if you, for example, on the M15 point of interest, you drop down to 5 minutes, your strike rate will increase. If you drop down to M1 and even to seconds time frame, which is what I use personally, your strike rate would increase dramatically. So let's just quickly look at a trade that I caught. So I actually caught a trade on GU this week. I mean, it was a beautiful trade. It was 1 to 116. So we will look at it. We'll look at it how it would have been if you caught using the 4-hour and M15 model, which was the video that the follow-up of the video that I talked about recently. And we will actually look at what would happen if you use just the M3 time frame and the seconds, which was the one that I caught. So before we get into the trade itself, let's just quickly do a top-down analysis. Let's start from the daily time frame, I mean the monthly. So if we look at let's just quickly drop down to the monthly. So here we are on the monthly time frame. So if we quickly look at what's going on GU, just looking from the monthly, we can clearly see that the structure overall has been bearish, right? So we had the break of structure, price came back, it mitigated, then it gave the second break of structure. So the bearish order flow here is clear and intact. Price came up all the way to this supply zone, and what do we expect? We expect price to continue all the way down to take out this monthly previous low and maintain the bearish order flow, right? Simple as that. So we drop down to the daily. We want to understand, okay, what happened at the daily time frame? Especially as an intraday trader, we want to make sure we focus on the daily and 4 hour all the way down, right? So if we look at the daily, the structure has been bullish right here. We had this break of structure to the upside into the monthly supply zone. Now, what we are actually expecting is, okay, price just tapped the monthly supply zone. We expect it to have long term, we want to be bearish, right? But for me personally, I want to see at least a daily change of character to the downside for me to be long-term sales. I can sell on the lower time frames, no problem, because if I sell, for example, on M3, it will basically be in alignment with the medium time frame, which is the 1 hour, M30, M20, right? So on the daily time frame, we can clearly see that the structure is still bullish. Price came all the way down and tapped this daily demand zone. Now, if price is going to continue bullish, we're going to see price giving us the 4 hour change of character, right? So let me just quickly drop down to the 4 hour time frame right here. So here we are on the 4 hour time frame. We can clearly see that once price got into that daily point of interest right here, this is where we are, and we can see something very interesting is that once price comes to my daily, usually once price comes to my daily demand zone, at least for me to buy, I want to see a 4 hour change of character to the upside. So up to this point, we didn't have a 4 hour change of character yet, right? We're still expecting, because I will actually want to see price come all the way up to this 4-hour high, break above, and then that's when I would be like, okay, maybe we're going to continue the bullish order flow on the daily time frame. So if the 4-hour is still bearish, I'm going to look for sales on the medium time frame as well as on the lower time frame till price actually gives us something different. So this is what we have on the 4-hour. And if you guys have seen from my previous video that I made on how to trade with a full-time job, you guys can clearly see that once we have a 4-hour supply zone, we wait for price to come back, and then we drop down to either M15 or M30 time frame to look for confirmation, right? So if price gives us M15 change of character, that means that maybe the 4-hour structure is still holding, so we're still bearish. So let me just play price real quick. So okay, boom, price comes into the 4-hour, and we can clearly see that if we drop down to M30 time frame, we can see the price actually gave us a beautiful M30 change of character right here. So we can clearly see that we had this previous structure high, and then we had this low, the major low, then price came with this high, and we can see this huge reaction here. Usually this is a sign of the bullish sentiment in the market losing strength and the bears actually stepping into the market. We can clearly see that within this week we had the last point of buyer's exhaustion. That's when buyers exhausted their orders, and then the sellers stepped into the market, right? And they gave us a beautiful change of character right here. So we can see that we can say, okay, this was the break of structure right here. So what is the order block? The order block is sitting within this wick right here, because this actually grabbed all this liquidity that we can see this basically this is a trend line liquidity. We can see the price came all the way up, grabbed that liquidity, sellers stepped into the market. So basically within this week we have the order block, so I can just mark this one right here as my point of interest right here. And if you want to just trade on based on the 4-hour and M15 swing model, we can just set a limit order on this order block. We can give a stop loss above the order block, right, just to give a nice buffer. So let me just use the sell tool. So our entry would have been here. We could have given about 40 pip stop loss right above this wick, and we can target this 4-hour previous low, because that's exactly what we want to see. If price is going to continue the bearish order flow on the 4-hour, we expect at least price to come all the way down and grab this 4-hour low right here. So very important is that we acknowledge that that on the daily the price is bullish, but on the 4-hour the structure is still bearish. So if the M15 as well, which was the medium time frame, or M30, is also giving us a bearish structure, we have to be bearish as well, right? So here we have the M30 change of character. We have our entry right there. So our target is to take out this 4-hour previous low, structure low. So that's the one we want. So just entry from the 30 minutes of the M30 supply zone, we would have about 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio, which is, it's a very good risk to reward ratio. So let me just quickly play price here. So we can see the price came down. If price closes below with a body, below this structure, this 4-hour low, we would invalidate the limit. So very, very important note over there. So we can see that it wicked, right? So it didn't close below. So let's see if price comes back. So price is just taking a while to come back up. So this right here that's when we actually got tagged into the trade, right? So with a limit order right there on the M30 supply zone, you would have been tagged right here. You can move your stop to break even once price takes out these lows right here, or you can just leave the position open all the way down to this previous low right here, because price can still play around this zone. So you can just leave the position open and then set your TP to be at this previous low, which will be a beautiful 1 to 4. So just entering from the 30 minutes, it will be like a nice 1 to 4. But if we drop down to lower time frame, for example, and I'll show where I actually entered myself. So let me just play price a little bit. And we can clearly see that at this particular point right here, the trade would have hit the TP I mean, this would have been a beautiful 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio. So entering from the M30 would have been a 1 to 4. So if you drop down, for example, right here, and let me just use the bar replay. Let me go back to this area right here. So if we quickly go back, once price came into this M30 supply zone, we could have dropped down to M3 time frame, for example. We want to increase the strike rate. So we say, okay, I'm just going to 4 hour, so we can have another layer of confirmation on this one. So we come down all the way to M3 time frame. We can see the price tapped into our M30 supply zone. So if we look at what's going on here, is that we had this previous structure high. So we're looking at swing structure. We have this structure high, then we had this structure low, and then we had this structure high. So what was responsible for the break of this previous structure high? It was this low right here. So we can consider this to be the change of character right here, right? So we can say, okay, this was the previous break of structure to the upside. What was responsible for that? It was this previous structure low that we have right here. Okay, right here. So this right here was the break of structure. So we can consider this to be the change of character right here. So we have a boss, and your trade can be from this fair value gap, from this low all the way to this to the fair value gap. And we want to make sure we cover this order block, which was the last buy before the sell that went on to break this previous structure low. So we can enter right here our entry. We can put a stop loss above the order block, 5 pips stop loss, very good. So we've gone from 40 pips on the M30 to 5 pips right here. So we have another layer of confirmation, and we get to reduce the stop loss, right? So just entry from the right here, 5 pips stop loss would have been, I mean, beautiful trade. So my entry actually was based off I waited for price to break this major structure low, which gave us this second order block right here. So I waited for price to come back to this one. So let me just quickly play price. So price started to pull back. So that's when price came right here into the point of interest. My entry was at 27,909. So right here, that's when I got tagged into the trade. Let me quickly go back to, I believe it was somewhere here. Yeah, so that's where my entry was. I had a 1.5 pip stop loss on this one right here, and I mean this was a beautiful trade all the way down to previous M3 previous low was a 1 to 13. I actually took the partials a 1 to 9.3. I took about 80% and I left the rest to run all the way to the 4 hour previous low. So if I quickly push price, so just entering from the 4 hour, I mean from the first entry, which was the change of character, all the way down would have been a 1 to 35 risk to reward ratio. And for my entry, I actually had a beautiful 1 to 116 on this one. So that's where I closed my entry at 1 to 16. It was around here. So if I quickly go back to just M15, let's go back to M15 and let me just play price all the way down, because that's the target that we have. We want to see price come all the way down to the 4 hour previous structure low. So if I play price, we can clearly see price, I mean, dropping beautifully. We can see a ton of liquidity sitting below right here. I mean, just have a ton of liquidity to target. So price is just continue to push, and we want to see price coming all the way down to our 4 hour right here. So we just allow price to do its thing. So price had a nice pullback, and then the news kicked in and TP was hit. I mean, this was just a beautiful trade. We had the confluence on the lower time frames, right? I mean, this was just a beautiful trade. We can clearly see the price came back here. Actually, it had wicked, but actually it hit our take profit target, but then price came back and just went on to close below the 4 hour. So this was just a beautiful, massive trade right here. I mean, this also was discussed on the group right here. So if I just bring price, let me just push this to the side. So yeah, this was a beautiful 1 to 16 risk to reward ratio trade. You guys right here at the right, you guys have my MT5 to see that I walk the talk, right? We gotta walk all this talk, guys. So this was a beautiful, beautiful trade. So that's it, guys. If you basically want to increase your strike rate, make sure you use the lower time frame. So if you look at the 4 hour, you can drop down to M15, look for one confirmation, you set the limit order. But if you want to increase the strike rate of that trade, you can drop down to the M3 time frame and look for another layer of confirmation. And the lower you go, even if you go to seconds time frame within the 3 minutes change of character point of interest, you go to seconds, you look for another chalk, your strike rate will increase dramatically, and you will be able to reduce the stop loss size and increase massively the risk to reward ratio, right? So guys, I hope I made the point clear with this one. If you guys love the video, make sure you smash the like button for me, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and guys, I have the monthly membership on the mentorship. So if you want to join to take these trades with me, because I always send these setups beforehand for everybody to profit, feel free. My contact is on the description box below, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one.